Hi everybody, welcome to Module 7, the last week of our course. Two topics for this week. We've got the final module and then also the final paper because we're working in 7 weeks instead of 8. So the last module, maybe you've taken a look at it already, looks at organizational change and organizational culture. So the org level of some of the concepts that we're talking about. So organizational change is a big topic and could be an entire course on its own, but this section will introduce you to the idea of planned organizational change. And then culture is often the target of change, but it's really the personality, values, and assumptions of an organization. So take a look at the part of chapter 14 and organizational culture. We already talked about org structure in the essentials class, so we're not going to talk about that topic. Your final journal materials on servant leadership and a discussion board where you'll just make an initial post and a written assignment on force field analysis. So your discussion, I'm going to ask you to describe an organizational culture that you know well, giving you an example. And then you do not have to respond to each other since this is the last week and you've got your paper due as well. You're certainly welcome to. Your written assignment is looking at change, organizational change. The force field analysis is a tool that you can use to try to figure out for a change that you're proposing, what are the forces that are driving in favor of the change? What are those obstacles that you're going to face so that you can figure out how to go about trying to create the change that you're looking for? So I have a document in here that you can use. You don't have to use it. You could just list out the driving forces and the restraining forces. That box in the middle is the present state, the equilibrium point. And so you're trying to push that to your desired area. And then finally is the journal assignment for this week. So all of the concepts that we've been talking about as characteristics of principled leaders are part of servant leadership. So Journal 7, Serving Others Before Self, is kind of an overall summary of servant leadership. So the first question is, are you a servant leader? So go back to the previous journals. Identify 3 characteristics that you are exemplifying and examples and evidence. So those can be a review of the journals from earlier in the session. Have you worked with a servant leader? Would you like to become more of a servant leader? Is the final journal assignment. And then the final paper is really a review of what you've learned about yourself throughout this session and to create a plan. Start out with a mission statement, leadership philosophy, a definition of success, and then plot out a plan for future development. So I've asked you to identify 2 strengths, so things you're already good at that give you energy, identify more ways that you can use those, and identify 2 areas of developmental need. So this can be topics on anything that we covered throughout this session. The developmental needs, try to identify ways that you can improve those and develop competencies that you'll need in the future in your life. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a busy week. Let me know if you have any problems, and I look forward to reading your responses.